All my athletes out there looking to compete, here is a guide on how to fuel correctly to perform your best. Starting off, these are 3 cornerstones in fueling for your performance. You need to make sure you're feeling comfortable, you start hydrated, and you constantly top off carbohydrates to ensure your brain and your muscles are functioning correct. Next, we need to consider what your days leading up to the competition will look like. If you are going through a taper cycle in your training, you need to consider maybe dialing back on the calories a little bit because you're not burning as much energy, and that way you avoid any unwanted weight gain. If you've heard the word carbo loading, don't worry about it. It's an old-fashioned strategy that is only likely to work if your event the next day is more than 2 to 3 hours long. If that is not the case, consider just eating regular carbohydrate snacks and meals to keep you topped up and your body full of energy. If you're someone who has bowel function issues right before a competition, try and avoid foods that are too high in fiber, as they tend to slow down your digestion and are more likely to give you stomach issues during the competition. In case you're wondering, there is no ideal meal the night before your competition. Stick to what you're used to, what you've practiced in training, and make sure you're eating until you feel comfortable. Make sure you're eating from places and sources that you know are safe and are accustomed to eating from. If your competition is in a particularly hot environment or at altitude, try and make sure that you top off your fluids in the morning first thing, because you're more likely to experience dehydration in these types of environments. Caffeine improving your performance when it comes to competition, you're not wrong. However, you need to understand the effects it has on your body and possible side effects that you could have afterwards. So experiment with it in training, in competition environments, so that you know when you get to that competition that you'll be fine and your body will not react bad. Okay, so we've looked at the days leading up to the competition. Now what we'd like to do is look at the day of the competition. Most importantly, and if you get nothing out of this, make sure you're eating your foods that you're used to and that you've tried throughout your entire training season. You should eat your big balanced meal about 3 to 4 hours before your planned race time. Or you can consider a smaller meal or a big snack. These should include protein, as that helps delay the onset of hunger throughout your competition. If you have decided to go the 3-hour route, I would recommend eating another carbohydrate snack 15 to 30 minutes before your race. This way, you've topped up and you have adequate energy levels to attack the competition. Try to avoid foods that are too high in fat or fiber, as this could tend to slow your digestion down and more likely to cause you stomach issues during the competition. If you are traveling to an area that you're not certain of for your competition, make sure well ahead of time that you have adapted your fueling plan to accommodate where you are going, with the foods that are available and the timing of your events traveling to and from the hotels. If you're typically crippled by nerves right before an event, then a liquid meal or snack before that race might be your best option. And finally, when it comes to hydration, make sure at least up to 24 hours you're adequately hydrated, and then ensure that you're sipping fluids constantly the day before and the day of the competition. Of course, all athletes and all sports require different recommendations. However, if you use these fundamental tips that I've given you, you can adapt these for any situation, any sport, and any environment. Once adapted for you, you can come out as the superior athlete and the person jumping on top of that podium.